This is on the difficult subject of when a loved one is dying. It could be that they're in palliative care, or well, there could be all sorts of reasons why you know that the outcome isn't going to be the one that you may want. It could be that they're suffering, and so it's the best thing for them, but it's still not what you want, is it? So looking at Bach Remedies and what they can do a lot. They can help the person, the individual that's in that situation, that's dying, and also their loved ones that are looking on and wanting to help. But what can they do, particularly in these difficult times? And the thing that they'd both need for sure for Bach Remedies is red chestnut, because red chestnut is the over worry of a loved one. Now, the person that's dying would need it because they'd be worried about their family, leaving their family behind. They know that their family is going to be upset. And also, obviously, the family are worrying about the person that they're going to lose. So red chestnut for sure, both need. Thinking about there's lots of things going on, and fear is one of them. And sometimes it's not so much fear of dying, because once you're dead you don't feel anything, but the pain and the things that could go on in between. And so mimulus is one for definite fear of something that you know. Aspen is one for fear of something that you don't know. And I think in this case, both. Usually you choose between the two, but in this case, I would say that you would need both. That's for both parties. And I would say rock rose for sure. Rock rose is for shock. And it is a shock. It's a shock to the person, it's a shock to the family, and the shock's in the system, whether or not we're outwardly appearing calm, that the shock is to our system. Now, rock rose is in rescue remedy. So rescue remedy could certainly be used. But as well as the rescue remedy, if you're making up a mixture for someone in a 30 ml bottle, then rescue remedy goes in, 4 drops of rescue remedy. But that actually counts as one remedy. Yeah. So you're looking at 7 altogether. And so I'm holding up 5 fingers, but 7 altogether. And so rescue remedy counts as 1, and then you'd put in red chestnut, mimulus, aspen. Then you could put in rescue remedy, but I would also actually put in rock rose separately in addition to the rescue remedy, because I feel it's needed. And also Star of Bethlehem, and Star of Bethlehem is for grief, and that grief can be felt before the person dies. It's the grief of losing someone, because the person is changing before your eyes quite often, and they're not the person that they were a year ago, 6 months ago, or whenever it was. So the grief can start before them. So I would say that. So I'm looking at some things to remind me, and so I would say that for now, for the condition of the sheer panic and the worry of somebody in that position, for both parties, for the onlookers and for those that are actually dying. And then, of course, eventually they will die, and that's the sometimes it's a double-edged sword if they've been suffering, because it's a relief they're no longer suffering. But of course, you've lost someone that you love dearly, and that's not what you want at all. So those same remedies would count for some of it. Some of it would count. I would think of honeysuckle for being able to look back and not look back thinking of all the awful things, the things that have just happened, but looking back at the nice things, the honeysuckle. And white chestnut would be a good one, because that stops all the things going round and round your head and going round and round in your head. Now, one of the things that happens when a loved one dies is there's different stages of grief, as you know. There's the you can't believe it, there's the anger. So they would you'd need different ones according to how you felt at the time, because anger and the unjustness of it could be holly, and willow for, you think, why does this happen? And that willow might be needed for the person that is dying as well. Why is this happening to me? Other people might think, well, this is going to happen to everybody, so why not me? And sometimes people actually want to go because they so you can't, it's not one size fits all. But willow is for that, why me? You know, why have I lost my partner? Why have I lost my husband? Why have I lost that? And the anger, it could be anger towards them that they've left you behind. And also, if they haven't sorted out their affairs, there'd be a real anger there that they've left you. But even if they have, there's still sometimes anger that they've gone, even though they didn't want to. And it's not logical, but you're not feeling logical. There could also be, and this happens with nearly everybody that loses someone, and that is guilt. You never, ever feel that you've done enough for that person, no matter, you know, you could have been sleeping by their bed 24 hours a day, you still wouldn't feel that you've done enough. So if they live a distance, if because of restricted visiting, you haven't been able to see them, there's that, or whatever reason, there's unjustified guilt. So pine would be the one that would assuage that guilt. And then there's that feeling of, well, depression doesn't even come close, does it, of how you'd feel, that despair. And there's different stages of how you'd feel. And it could be that you just need a bit of cajoling to carry on, because maybe it's been a long-term illness and they're better off, but you're still left, you know, horrible. But gentian could be the one that could get you going. But if it's really, you know, you don't want to, once the funeral's over, because that's a busy time, getting ready for the funeral and doing everything, that is a busy time. So it could be after that all these other feelings come about, because there's a busyness to the first thing. But if it's like really bad duvet day, then you've gone beyond gorse. Gorse is needing to feel better, but sweet chestnut is for, that's it, you know, never mind a light at the end of the tunnel. I can't even see the tunnel. So that could be, so it all depends on the individual. So you can't really give a hard and fast rule to it. And so that's just some suggestions of what would help to, as regards Bach Remedies, to support the family now, the whole family now, and afterwards when they've gone. So I hope that helps. If you need any information, please get in touch with me, and I'll do my best to help you.